we are on Shoreditch High Street now at the office of Charged Up. 229, yeah, 229 Shoreditch Street, and we'll just go in and have a chat with their founder and see what their office is like. See you inside. So thanks for inviting us to your office, Hugo. We are in the office of Charged Up. So can you introduce yourself to us and tell about what Charged Up does?
Sure. So my name is Hugo Tilmuth and I'm the founder and CEO of Charged Up. Charged Up it's been coined by the BBC as the Boris Bikes of phone charging. We essentially allow you to borrow a power bank when you're in one of our partner venues, which includes about 1,000 venues now across the UK. You borrow the power bank using an app. You charge your phone with all the cables included on the power bank, and then you return it to any station in the network, and you just pay for the time that you've used. So, just like the bikes, it's a pay and play sharing economy model, allowing you to stay charged up on the go.
It sounds quite simple, but these ideas are quite deceptive, especially when you try to expand into B2C markets as you do. So can you walk us through some of your iterations in finding this niche, this product market fit?
Yeah, sure. So I guess, we took the inspiration from the lean startup, MVP, and we took the concept to its kind of boiled down form, which was literally an iZettle card machine and a load of power banks that we bought off Alibaba, direct from China with Charged Up written on them. And we went to a festival and we were literally charging people with an iZettle. They'd pay £10 to borrow a battery. And then if they returned it, we would refund a certain amount of money for the time that they used. It went fantastically well. We made about £2,000 in 2 days. And we thought there has to be something to this. People are more than happy to pay for phone charging on the go. We then repeated that same idea into a London venue. Unfortunately, it's now closed down, a great venue called Magic Roundabout. And again, it did fantastically well. From that, we were inspired to create the first iteration of the Charged Up station, which was literally a vending machine. So you could go up to it, use a contactless card, battery would drop out the bottom, and when you were finished with it, you could drop it back in the top and receive some money back onto your card. That kind of sparked the idea for kind of generating something that would actually be able to be scaled into more and more venues. It was the form factor of the unit was not quite right. We spoke to venues, we spoke to users and iterated upon ideas and eventually came to what we've got right now. And that's worked fantastically with, like I said, over 1,000 venues across the UK.
So immediately started listening in to this product and the development cycle. I think about timing and the role of timing in building a great business.
Yeah.
With a product and a company like Charged Up, I immediately start thinking about the problems that are shared by a vast majority of people that they don't have a charge at the end of the day in their phone, and this is a huge problem for that. But on the other hand, this problem is trying to be solved by mobile phone manufacturers and lengthening battery life. So if you think about timing on the one hand and this problem attempting to be solved by phone manufacturers, how does that play out into the development of this business for the future?
Sure. So, of course, we see each year we get a promise of a longer battery life on our phones. Unfortunately, it's just not materializing because the rate of development of the chipsets, of the technology that those phones use, we're bringing in 5G now, AR experiences on our devices, the power use just goes up. And unfortunately, the rate of the amount of energy density that they can stuff into a lithium cell is just not increasing at that same rate. And we keep demanding thin phones, faster phones, more powerful phones, and it's really just not keeping up with that rate of increase, that the phones are demanding. So I guess for the next few years, we're just going to try and solve that problem for as many people as we possibly can.
Yeah, makes sense. Going back a bit, can you tell us about your growth trajectory in terms of how investments you've received played a part into that?
Sure. So the business was formed just over 2 years ago now. It was very much a bootstrapped business. We entered a few startup competitions, such as the Shell Livewire competition. We managed to win that, and then one with O2 as well. We then managed to get through to some investors called Daedalus Capital Partners. They were our first investors. That allowed us to actually launch the network into, actually just around the corner from here, in a venue called The Big Chill. That was our very first venue in London. And off the back of that, we were able to show that people were willing to pay to charge their phone in a venue. And we started to ramp up our sales efforts. We also hired more developers in order to speed up the process. We got up to 50 stations across London, and we raised our seed round of investment. So that was led by the Garage Soho. We also had Jam Jar, who are fantastic, well-known investors behind Innocent Smoothies. And then also Founders Factory, as well as a number of angel investors as well. That was an amazing round. It came together so quickly, and we had so much interest in that round. We were even having to say no to some investors, which seems very strange.
Nice problem to have. For
oh yeah, definitely. So that, I guess, has allowed us to scale to this point now, where we're at over 1,000 stations across the UK. We've also launched into Amsterdam, and then yet to be announced, but we're going to be launching into another European country very soon. So. Wow. Yeah, watch this space.
Looking really bright.
Yeah.
Very energetic. So how does being in London play into this? What are the bests and worsts about having your office in London?
I think there isn't really a better place in Europe to be based if you want to be a tech startup. The access to capital, the access to talent, there's a real buzz around this city, and there's a really great startup community that in the last 2 years we've really tapped into, both on the other founders going through similar problems or going through similar investors. But also on the investor side as well, and the corporate partner side. There's just so many people that want to get involved with London startups. It's just the perfect place to be. I guess on the negative side, because there is so much going on here, there is a lot of competition for good talent. We've got Google, Apple, there's loads of really fantastic companies in this city, and we have to compete against those guys to get the best talent into this little office here to work on Charged Up.
So when we talk about growth, we essentially talk about a few different things. It all leads up the growth for startups, essentially. But there's also the investment side of that. There's the people side of that growth, of course the product, customer retention, and the financial aspects of that. Yeah. But let's focus on the people and culture side of that growth for a second. Sure. So can you walk us through your first hires, how the company has evolved to this stage,
sure.
What's the team size at the moment, and so on?
Yeah, so I think just literally a year ago from now, we were 4 people in the company, just the 4 founders, really just doing absolutely everything ourselves, and just trying to hustle our way to get the first stations out there. And we were, I guess, trying to plug some gaps in the talent that we just couldn't afford to hire at that point. But since then, our first hire was Pam, our head of product. We're up to about 30 people now in the London office, and then we've got people across the world as well working for Charged Up, whether it's launching new cities or helping with our support, all sorts of different nationalities involved in the business. And I like to think that we have quite a fun, work hard, but also, play hard, have a good time as well, culture in the business. And we've really tried to make sure that culture of working hard and being an honest team that gets on with each other and can be open and frank has stayed even as we've hired more and more people.
My name is Mauricio Garcia. I am the head of growth. My role is separated in a different number of channels, so I work together with the product in order to understand what could bring in more acquisition, more retention, and overall better user experience. I work also with marketing, making sure that our communication is aligned with our objectives and also to acquire users. And I work also on the feedback front with the customers, understanding what they like, why they dislike, what they want to see in the product, and basically give us also a direction of where we move forward in terms of innovation, technology, new products, and direction.
Sure. So I'm Pam Hernandez. I'm head of product, and I've been with the team for about 8 months now, but it in a way feels like a lot longer because we've already done office moves, scaling up a team locally, and kind of decommissioning a lot of the MVP approach to the things that we had done to actually really be able to scale up and benefit from some of the kind of head of growth strategies we wouldn't have had otherwise.
So do you think the business has, I know this is a very short term to observe that, do you think business has changed in these 8 months?
Night and day. I mean, we had less than 400 stations when I joined the team. We have, I think, close to 1,200 in the UK. We've expanded to the Netherlands. We're already doing brand partnerships with the likes of O2. It's literally been night and day since when I first joined.
So as the business grows in employee size and team size, the dynamics start to change within the business as well. So what are some of your observations on how the real life here is changing?
One of the biggest things is, as one of the first employees, as opposed to just the co-founders, it's been interesting to be able to have a voice at the table and to be able to influence our strategy. So basics, just like the fact that initially when I was hired, I was managing an offshore agency and doing the development, and instead now we have a full in-house team that is London-based and really well-versed with the product because we use it every evening and weekend that we can. That already has shown a lot of different avenues of user input, even just from a staff perspective, because we are power users and we engage with venue staff as well as customers. We feel certain pain points as well, and it's completely different than having worked previously with a team that wasn't UK based and able to reap the reward of the service.
I would like to invite your readers to check out our upcoming YouTube channel, yet to be released, but coming soon, where you'll be able to see the behind the scenes of a startup, behind the scenes of what goes on with the product, what goes on with marketing, how we negotiate with venues. Basically a really fun startup channel. That's the premise.
When you think about launching a business and growing and managing a company, we tend to overemphasize the business side of things. But essentially, to build a real team, you also have to maybe engineer is not the right word, but to design or at least show conscious effort on how people interact with each other. Do they enjoy being with each other?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, for potential future talents who want to join in the company, what do you think they should know about the business?
Sure. I guess there's so much that we're building. We're constantly growing. There's so many challenges. It's a challenging role. You'd be working hard and we'd be busy, but we do like to have a good time. The team get on well, and you'd be building something really quite big that is already scaled across the UK in just a year. Think where we're going to be next year. We've got some pretty bold plans, and I guess it would be great to have more people part of that.
So it's all about complexity in a way. There are many entrepreneurs who have not started on the journey of building a business do not see this very clearly, but there are essentially all these parts: the people aspect of things, the commercial, the investment, the consultants, the mentors, the advisors. So it's a whole ecosystem of complexity that founders like yourself have to manage. Yeah. And I'd like to touch on what I think is a very important but under-discussed part of that, which is the tools essentially your business depends on daily functioning and to grow essentially. So what are your favorite tools that you use and depend on as a business?
Sure, there's so many tools. I think the number of SaaS products that we subscribe to is now just ridiculous. It's the list is very long, whether it's in the product or something that the support team rely on, operations, the data analysis team. There's so many different things that we rely on, but the ones that I personally love, it's Slack, which is obviously a very basic answer because everyone seems to have it these days. But a really good one that we've implemented recently is Notion, for creating banks of knowledge within the business. So it's almost just like a note-taking app, but it allows for the best practices to be noted down and almost to create an internal kind of Wikipedia for the company, so that we're always making sure that processes are noted down and we're improving on those. Even if more people are added to the team, knowledge isn't getting lost.
So, what are your key milestones for the business that you think you'll run into in the following months and years?
So I guess we're pushing for international expansion, which is going to be a huge challenge for us, but also it's super exciting. We're going to be interacting with brand new customers in different languages, different currencies, which is going to be very challenging, but we're excited to take it on. Big milestones is we've got some pretty exciting deals that are going to be coming live soon, and again we're going to be launching a new station as well, so replacing the one that we've got and also iterating upon that with a kind of new form factor. So pretty exciting stuff to come.
So we appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for inviting us to your office.
No, thank you. It's been really fun.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
So we just concluded the episode with Charged Up. Real fun team, very interesting office. Had the chat with Hugo and Pam and their head of growth. So overall, I think they're a very successful startup growing in an ever increasing rate. So I wish them all the success.